In a heartbreaking turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and devastated fans across the globe, the wife of beloved television actor Daniel Hayes has launched a GoFundMe campaign to help her family cope with what she described as overwhelming financial strain following the actor's sudden and unexpected death last month. Hayes, best known for his breakout role as sensitive teen heartthrob Ryan Calloway in the late 1990s coming-of-age drama Summer Tides, passed away at the age of 47 after suffering a massive cardiac event at his Los Angeles home. The tragedy has not only left an emotional void for his wife, Emily Hayes, and their 3 children, but has also revealed the often hidden financial instability that can shadow even recognizable figures in Hollywood. In a deeply personal statement posted on the fundraising page, Emily Hayes wrote that her husband's passing came without warning, without preparation, and without the safety net we believed we had built together, explaining that ongoing medical expenses, paused projects, and long periods without steady work had quietly eroded the family's financial foundation in recent years. The campaign, titled "Support the Hayes Family During This Difficult Time," quickly gained traction, surpassing $250,000 within its first 48 hours as former co-stars, industry colleagues, and fans rallied to offer support. Hayes rose to fame in 1998 when Summer Tides premiered and became an instant cultural phenomenon, chronicling the emotional ups and downs of high school students navigating friendship, first love, and identity in a fictional coastal town. His portrayal of Ryan Calloway, a shy aspiring writer caught between ambition and self-doubt, resonated deeply with viewers and turned Hayes into a household name. Almost overnight. Magazine covers, late-night talk show appearances, and endorsement deals followed, painting the picture of a young actor destined for long-term superstardom. Yet like many child and teen actors who experience rapid fame, Hayes faced the difficult transition into adulthood under the scrutiny of the public eye. While he continued to work steadily in independent films and television guest appearances, he never again achieved the commercial peak of his early career. According to Emily's statement, the financial realities of Hollywood proved far more complex than most outsiders realize. She revealed that despite his early success, long gaps between acting roles, fluctuating income streams, and costly health insurance premiums placed increasing pressure on the family's savings. In recent years, Hayes had reportedly been developing several independent projects, including a passion film centered on fatherhood and resilience, but production delays and financing challenges meant those projects had yet to provide stable income. "Danny never stopped working," Emily wrote in her message. Even when the cameras weren't rolling, he was writing, producing, auditioning, mentoring young actors. But creative passion does not always translate into financial security. Her candid acknowledgement of the family's financial struggles sparked widespread discussion online about the economic volatility of the entertainment industry. Many fans expressed surprise, assuming that actors associated with iconic television series must automatically enjoy lifelong wealth. Industry experts, however, note that residual payments from older television contracts are often modest, particularly for actors who were not executive producers or part of back-end profit-sharing agreements. Additionally, medical expenses can rapidly deplete savings, especially when unexpected emergencies occur. Although Emily did not disclose specific details about the medical interventions preceding her husband's death, hospital care, specialist consultations, and emergency services that resulted in significant bills. The GoFundMe page outlines that funds will be used to cover outstanding medical costs, funeral expenses, mortgage payments, and to establish an educational fund for the couple's children, aged 14, 11, and 7. Within hours of the campaign's launch, former Summer Tides cast members shared the link across social media platforms, posting emotional tributes alongside photos from the show's early days. Actress Laura Benton, who portrayed Hayes' on-screen love interest, wrote, "Daniel was not only my co-star but my friend for over 20 years. His heart was as generous as his smile. Please help support his beautiful family during this unimaginable time." Fans also began sharing personal stories about how Hayes' portrayal of Ryan Calloway helped them navigate their own teenage insecurities, highlighting the powerful bond that can form between audiences and fictional characters. As donations continued to pour in, questions also emerged regarding the broader issue of financial planning within Hollywood. Financial advisors interviewed by entertainment trade publications emphasized that fame does not necessarily guarantee long-term wealth and that income can fluctuate dramatically depending on contract structures, union negotiations, and market demand. Hayes' situation, while tragic, underscores the precarious nature of creative professions in which work is often freelance-based and project-dependent. Emily Hayes addressed potential criticism head-on in her statement, acknowledging that asking for public financial support was not an easy decision. "I hesitated for weeks before creating this page," she wrote. "Pride told me we should manage this alone. But grief has a way of humbling you. Our children deserve stability. They deserve the chance to heal without the added fear of losing their home." Her vulnerability resonated widely, prompting a wave of empathy rather than judgment. Fundraiser had exceeded $600,000, with anonymous donors contributing large sums and thousands of smaller contributions reflecting grassroots support. Entertainment analysts note that crowdfunding campaigns tied to beloved public figures often gain rapid momentum due to the emotional connection fans feel. However, such campaigns can also expose uncomfortable truths about the lack of systemic financial safeguards in industries built on fame and visibility rather than guaranteed income. For many observers, the Hayes family's appeal serves as a reminder that behind the glamour of red carpets and premiere parties lies a workforce subject to the same uncertainties faced by millions of freelancers worldwide. As tributes continue to flood social media, networks that once aired Summer Tides have begun airing reruns in honor of Hayes' memory, drawing both nostalgia and renewed appreciation for his early work. Meanwhile, Emily Hayes has pledged to provide transparent updates regarding the use of funds and expressed gratitude for what she described as an outpouring of love that reminds us Danny's legacy is measured not in dollars, but in the lives he touched. Despite the sorrow surrounding his death, friends say Hayes remained hopeful about the future until the very end, focusing on family dinners, youth theater workshops, and quiet evenings spent writing scripts at the kitchen table. Those closest to him describe a man far removed from the stereotype of a faded teen idol, instead portraying a devoted father and husband who valued privacy and purpose over celebrity status. The fundraising effort, while born of tragedy, has sparked a broader conversation about compassion, financial vulnerability, and the shared humanity that exists beyond the screen. As the fundraising campaign continued to gather momentum, the broader cultural conversation surrounding Daniel Hayes' life and untimely passing began to evolve beyond immediate grief into reflection about the unpredictable economics of celebrity and the fragile boundary between public perception and private reality. Within 2 weeks of its launch, the GoFundMe initiative organized by Emily Hayes surpassed the $1 million mark, drawing contributions not only from longtime fans of Summer Tides but also from fellow actors, directors, writers, and crew members who had crossed paths with Hayes throughout his career. The sheer scale of support underscored how deeply his early work had embedded itself into popular culture, yet it also revealed how little the public often understands about the financial structures that underpin television fame. In interviews conducted by entertainment journalists covering the story, former colleagues described Hayes as someone who approached his craft with humility and professionalism, even during periods when work was scarce. Casting director Monica Reyes recalled that Hayes frequently auditioned for roles without invoking his past fame, insisting on being evaluated purely on performance rather than reputation. "He never walked into a room expecting special treatment," Reyes said. "If anything, he seemed more grateful than anyone else just to be considered." Such anecdotes added nuance to the public's understanding of a man who, in the late 1990s, had once seemed untouchable at the height of teen drama hysteria. Industry analysts pointed out that actors who achieve breakout success at a young age often face a complicated financial trajectory. Initial contracts for emerging television stars, particularly during the era when Summer Tides first aired, rarely included the kind of back-end profit participation that later became standard for top-billed talent. Residual payments, while helpful, are typically calculated according to formulas negotiated decades ago, meaning that streaming-era viewership does not always translate into substantial income for performers whose contracts predated modern distribution platforms. In Hayes' case, reruns of Summer Tides continued to air in syndication and on digital platforms, but the resulting compensation was reportedly modest compared to public assumptions. Financial planners who work with creative professionals emphasized that the entertainment industry functions largely as a gig economy, with periods of intense activity followed by stretches of uncertainty. Unlike salaried employment, acting careers rarely provide consistent monthly income, and even well-known performers must budget carefully during high-earning years to prepare for leaner times. According to Emily's statement, the Hayes family had invested in property, education funds, and independent film ventures, but a series of stalled projects and medical emergencies placed unexpected strain on their resources. She described the months leading up to her husband's death as a whirlwind of hospital visits, consultations with cardiology specialists, and urgent care treatments that were emotionally exhausting as well as financially burdensome. Though she refrained from sharing graphic details, she noted that insurance coverage gaps and deductibles compounded the challenge. The emotional honesty of her words appeared to resonate with readers who had experienced similar struggles in their own lives, regardless of profession. Online forums filled with discussions about how easily medical crises can destabilize families, even those perceived as affluent. Supporters argued that the campaign was less about charity and more about community solidarity during a time of profound loss. Critics, however, raised questions about whether public figures should rely on crowdfunding messages of comfort, reminding her that creative legacies endure in many forms. By the end of the first month, the fundraiser had exceeded its initial goal, prompting Emily to announce that any additional funds would be directed toward establishing a charitable foundation in Daniel Hayes' name dedicated to supporting aspiring young actors from underserved communities. The initiative, she explained, aligned with her husband's passion for mentorship and education. Danny believed storytelling could change lives, she wrote. If we can help one child feel seen the way audiences once felt seen by him, then his spirit continues. The announcement transformed the narrative from one solely centered on financial need to one emphasizing legacy and forward-looking purpose. Observers noted that the campaign's trajectory reflected the complex relationship between celebrities and their audiences in the digital age. Crowdfunding platforms have blurred traditional boundaries, enabling direct connections that bypass studios and publicists. While such accessibility can invite scrutiny, it also fosters a sense of shared humanity that transcends the illusion of glamour. In reflecting on Hayes' life, entertainment historians highlighted how Summer Tides captured a specific cultural moment, portraying adolescence with sincerity rather than cynicism. That authenticity, they argued, explains why decades later, fans still feel protective of the actor who embodied their youthful hopes and insecurities. As memorial services were held privately for family and close friends, public remembrance took the form of storytelling, philanthropy, and collective support. Analysts predict that the financial conversation sparked by this tragedy will persist, encouraging greater transparency about the realities of freelance creative work. For now, the Hayes family continues to express gratitude for the compassion shown by strangers and loved ones alike. In her most recent update, Emily wrote that grief